Let me welcome you all to another edition of Let's Talk Business, organized by JCI European Senate. I'm Filipe Carrera, and today I'm not joined by my colleague and good friend Robbert van Hart because these things happen. But we have today Kevin Guerin that we welcome. And let me tell you a little bit about him. He founded his own company in 2017, combining digital and ecological transition. Kevin is also a speaker and a trainer, and through his conferences and workshops, he's raising awareness, helping to reduce the impact and start to build a better and safer technological future. And really, we need that. Kevin is the founder of Cyber World Cleanup Day, and he founded in 2020. So basically during the pandemic. So welcome, Kevin. And let's start with that. What is the Cyber World Cleanup Day?
So the Cyber World Cleanup Day is a global operation that we started in 2020 because we wanted to that all the people get aware about the environmental impact of the digital. And we wanted to have like a simple and concrete project that people can do from their home, from their office, from their school, and that start to get action by starting by cleaning their data, by cleaning the waste that they have in their computer, because we have so many files that are in double, files that we don't use anymore, files that have been many versions that we will never use anymore. And basically, all these files, especially if they are stored on the cloud, they're taking space, they're taking energy, because we need energy to run all these computers, all these servers on the cloud, and they need also components to build all these computers, all these servers. And by deleting all these files that we don't use anymore, that we don't need anymore, basically we are acting, reducing our digital impact, reducing our carbon footprint, because everything is linked to carbon footprint at the end.
Yeah, that's the thing that normally we think it's digital. There is no carbon footprint, but there is the electricity that is consumed in the servers, because the cloud, it's not a cloud, it is a set of servers. So this is one of the things that we can do as an individuals to basically to help in this digital and ecological transition. But what can we do more in order to make it a safer transition as individuals?
The most important thing is to understand that the major impact is due to the production of all this equipment, because to produce all this equipment, we need a lot of rare metal, we need a lot of components that are crossing all the world, and all the production is doing lots of impact. So less we buy or less we produce all this equipment, more we will reduce our equipment or impact. And basically, as an individual or as a company, the best thing you can do is to keep it the longest as you can, as your smartphone or your computer.
Yeah, that's by the way, I don't know if this will be exactly in your area, but this goes to that famous discussion about the electrical cars, okay, that are less polluting, but people don't, normally they don't count what is before producing a car. For instance, the materials that you have to use, the rare materials, the rare minerals that you have to use in order to create batteries, and what you do after with the batteries. And nowadays we have batteries for everything. We have batteries in our computers. We have batteries in our mobile phones. And there are batteries in our cars. What do you think about this this discussion? Are the electrical cars so environmentally friendly or not?
This is the more or less, it's not my field of expertise, but this is more or less the same topic. Because as you said, we are producing a lot of batteries to build these electric cars. We need a lot of electric components because cars are more and more digital in some way, especially when you look at the Tesla cars, they are before to be a car, it's a computer with wheels. And so basically it's very close
my
discussion.
Sorry, my kids, they don't like electrical cars. They call it power banks.
And but the topic is the same, and in some way it's a good thing because we are deleting in some way all the thermical cars, all the cars with petrol, and but in other way, as you said, we need a lot of minerals. We need a lot of components. And the thing is that in some way, we need to go to this type of cars because we need to delete all the ones because we'll get out of petrol at some stage. But we need to learn how to use it better or to make another type of usage by mutualization, by functional economy, circular economy, in a way that to use as much as possible. Because if you buy a car, and if it costs a lot of money in your from your pocket, but it's costing a lot for the environment. And if you buy this car and that you are using only 10% of the time, it's lots of minerals, lot of components, lot of carbon that is staying on your parking. And if you are trying to mutualize as much as possible this car, we will be able to match in some way this digital and ecological transition. We need to produce less, but we need to use more in some way.
And by the way, because 2020 was the year, and also 2021 with the pandemic was the year of remote work, and a lot of offices are like the one behind you that is, I know it's a background, and this is also a coffee shop background, and they are empty, but they are still creating that carbon footprint. What do you think about what will be the transformation of companies, about office space, in a way that it has the digital transition and also an ecological transition?
In some way, I do think that it will not completely disappear because out of work, but inside the work, people need social life. And these offices, they are the way, they are the place where the people get social life in work, at work, and we won't be able to delete all these offices. That we need some offices to keep them, but we will need to use them differently. We will need to use them as they do it in some way in what we call flex office, that you don't have your own desk, you don't have your own room, but everything is shared to optimize maximum, and in some way to keep this social life inside the company. I don't really believe in companies that are full-time remote. I know it exists, some are working like that, but I think that people need also at work this social life, and the pandemic did prove it in some way that some of the people, they were waiting at home, and they wanted to get back to work as soon as possible.
But you were talking about occupation rate when you were talking about cars. And if you start thinking, the offices now have the same problem because more and more you have teams that you can have like 3 days at home or 2 days at home. So in a way, the occupancy rate is very low. It's lower than it was before, because offices, for instance, normally are empty after 5, 6 until 8 o'clock in the next morning, but they are with air-conditioned lights, cleaning and everything. So wouldn't it be more logical to have spaces for this kind of socialization that you were saying, instead of having offices? So people would come to socialize, to meet and greet at some point, and with that to optimize resources.
Yeah, you're true, and this is part of the thing that we need to think, and we need to get this occupation rate from everything in some way to optimize and to reduce the ecological impact. And these offices need to think maybe to have other function out of hours. This other function, this is what we call the multimodal in the buildings. And from 8 to 17 can be one function, from 17 to 20 perhaps were another function. I know that if you take the other way around, some hotels started to rent the rooms during the day for people who want to work. So during the day, it's like an office. The room is an office, and during the night, it's a bedroom. And so it's part of, like, business model need to evolve. And in other way, for example, in France, we have a company that has started to say, okay, our offices are empty during night. They are heated. And basically, we want to offer some people doesn't have a house to come and sleep in our offices during night and during the winter. So they started that last year. I don't know if they will renew it this year. This is something that I have seen on the newspaper. But this is things that say, yeah, as you said, this office's light is on, heated is on. How can we use it differently? Can be used also for association, for non-profit organization that have a lot of meeting in the evening. There is a lot of things like that. But it's for sure that we will reduce the size of the offices for many companies, because, like, maybe, as you said, 1/3 of the, or 1/4 of the workers will stay at home. So they will not need to have a so big office that we had before.
So basically, if we could put it as a word, like a kind of slogan for digital and ecological transition, the idea is optimize occupancy rate, usage rate, because we really have a lot of equipment, a lot of even spaces that basically are occupied or used 5, 10%, 20% when they are used a lot. So in a way, what you are saying is like reproducing the same idea of the cloud, because why we have the cloud is to optimize processing speed, also space, because you use it as you need it. And basically, we need to do that for physical resources. Is that the idea?
Yeah, it is the idea with two things. The first thing is that we need to optimize, but we need to optimize in the, if possible, with what we have already. Because building new things to optimize, we will build new things, we will need more materials, but also we are not sure that we will be able to recycle the old materials in some way, that even a building. So it's optimized, but starting from what we have and trying to get the best of what we can optimize it. The other thing is that mutualization, try to optimize like cloud and everything. We need to check if it's worth it, because if you move to cloud, for example, but you put files that you will never use anymore, it doesn't make sense.
Mm-hmm.
So it's also the question. The other question is really that do I need to keep that? Do I really need to this software? Do I need these new materials? Do I need these new things?
Mm-hmm. So,
and how long will I keep it? So it's many questions that you need to ask yourself about when you get to a new need.
By the way, from the presentation that I did about you, you created a company that is working in this area. Can you give me one or two examples of projects that you are doing or have done in this area, so we can understand basically what is possible to do in this area?
So the way that I work with the company is more like a coaching in some way. Okay. I go to companies, we look at what they have, what they have done already. Maybe we can amplify and we can show that they have already done things about digital, about the reduction of the digital impact, but they didn't know what they were doing things about environmental impact. They did it because for a performance issue, or they did it for a finance issue. And it also can have environmental impact. So the first thing is that to get through what they did already and say, yeah, this point, for example, if you keep your computers 5 years, this is a very good thing. You didn't know that you were doing for environmental impact, but in some way.
So you do a kind of auditing.
Yeah, it's kind of auditing, but really, yeah, it's not a full audit. It's really based on few things to try to just to raise awareness of what they have already done. And after, we will take in some way the good things, what they have done, and or what they have started in some way, and we will try to measure it and to put some indicators to show the progress that they have done so far, or they will do if they don't have data from the past. Mm-hmm. And it can go from because I'm working basically with each team of the company. So, for example, if I work with the infrastructure team, we will work about the lifetime of the servers. If we work with the computer team, we will work of the computer lifetime of the computer. But if I work with the training team, they are not dealing directly with the computers. So we will work on the training that they are providing, or we can optimize the presentation, or we can optimize the diffusion of this presentation, and maybe the travel around this training, because we can have a lot of travel, especially in big companies. So we will try to check what their job is and how can we improve their job to reduce the impact.
Mm-hmm. And basically, you also do a kind of return on investment on that kind of project. So, because I see that many times there are these kind of projects that are in sustainability. They are thought like, okay, this is nice, but if it's only because it's nice, if it's only because it's nice, it's moral, it is fashionable.
It really depends on the project
that you are wasting. So
yeah, I know
kind of accounting how much money companies are wasting for not optimizing their resources.
It will really depend of the type of project. If we are working on project based on energy, we will most likely get on return of investment, because all the energy we save, we can directly take it in account. When we talk about computers, most of the company are working with leasing. mean that they are renting the computers, and there are like accountable methods to make this return on investment. So it's not really, from a finance point of view, it's not really it's not interesting to make longer the equipment. If you look at only this financial point of view. But if you look at the maintenance point of view, if you look at all the work to make the call for proposal, to get new, to renew the park and everything, at the end, you will make some savings. I cannot really say that it will be completely return on investment, but there are some savings that you will do from another hand, that it's not direct return of investment. This is the first point. And also the other thing that it's happened in France, I think it's happened in a lot of countries, that it's also like the image of the company, that people and or even people who are looking for work, they are more and more looking after what their future employer is doing or it's working. And some students in France, I know that there's a lot of students, there is like a non-profit organization that they're creating. They are refusing to work with a company that are not making efforts in ecological transition. And we have more and more students doing that. So it's not only finance purpose. I understand what you said, but you need to look at other things that can happen if you don't do it.
Yeah, the reputation is also a value for the company. And one last question. What changes have you seen with COVID-19 towards managers to be more open or less open to do this kind of projects?
The first thing, when in France we have a full lockdown with the COVID-19 last year, and the first reaction with the lockdown was it is not a priority anymore. So in some ways they put all this corporate social responsibility project in standby. But after the lockdown has finished, I think that they took conscious of a lot of things during this lockdown about what this pandemic provoked and what can happen in the future if it's reproduced, if there is another pandemic, and since the lockdown has been finished, that we have lots of people who want to do more. They really want to take action. They just don't want to get informed. I think that they are conscious about it. Say, okay, well, now how can I take action? How can I improve my job? How can I improve my company to be part of the solution, to contribute to this reduction of the carbon footprint, to contribute to the ecological transition in global. And they also, more and more, they are taking conscious that the solution will not be only technological. The solution needs to learn how to manage technology, that technology will help us, but technology will not do everything. And if you use it not properly, it will be worse. It will be worse to do it rather than not to do it.
Now, that's a very important point that also in my activity I try to explain, is that buying technology is signing checks. It's easy. The problem is how to optimize and implement it with the human resources, with the talent that you have in the company, because it is easy to buy equipment and you can buy, and many companies, they have more software, more equipment that they really need. And it's very interesting that you are working on that optimization, because basically we have too much things. Everybody has too much things that are not optimized. And on the other hand of the world, we have people that have very little or almost nothing.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
if we optimize resources, we can balance this without losing life standards and raising the life standards of the ones that are not that don't have these kind of equipments, this kind of access, etc. So, Kevin.
And just one last thing, and the reality is also that 20 years ago, when I started to work, IT was quite expensive, and companies were obliged to make optimization. And after, IT was cheaper and cheaper, so they didn't care about the optimization. And because now we are faced to lack of components, lack of metals, lack of everything, the IT most likely will become more and more expensive in coming years. So sooner we start to optimize, easier it will be to get to this lack to get face of this lack of component and everything.
Kevin, thank you very much for sharing. This was another Let's Talk Business, this time with Kevin Guerin, when we talked about digital transition, ecological transition, how we can conjugate this. And Kevin gave us absolutely amazing examples of this, things that we think that are not so important, like cleaning files, and this is a way of also reducing our carbon footprint, because we always think about, okay, I will go walking with not use the car or go with the public transportation, but there is a lot of things that we do daily that creates carbon footprint that are useless, basically. So, and the digital part is also creating a carbon footprint. So, Kevin, once again, thank you very much for sharing with us in Let's Talk Business. This was, again, an initiative of JCI European Senate, and see you on the next Let's Talk Business. Thank you very much, Kevin.
Thank you. Bye.